As a lot of you probably know, Grisha won once again in a 1v5. Last time it was a 1v7, this time a 1v5, and he won again. Which kind of makes me happy, because the people that lost, you know, a lot of these people, I actually don't know if it's true, but some of these people were definitely trash-talking us last time, saying, just defend your part, just play there, and you would win. And this time, they lost. So anyways, this video, we are gonna analyze what happened, how this can be prevented in the future, how Europe can save itself, how the West can defend itself, how this won't happen again, and what went wrong today. Let's head right in. Okay, so I loaded into a save from just right before the first European war. In case you don't know, in this, there is a first European war in like 2026. And then there's a second European war. The date isn't fixed, but it is usually at like around 30. This is actually going to be important in a second, because this time there was a big anomaly here. But first of all, let's look at why the Europeans lost the first European war. So I think there's a multitude of reasons, but one of the most important ones that I personally saw is Germany didn't train its tanks. For many beginners, this doesn't look that bad, but you have to consider that a level 3 tank that is trained has 50% extra stats over an untrained tank. That is a huge stat swing. And without trained tanks, you are not even trying. That is a huge difference. If we attack on Russia, then you can see his tanks are all level 3, so that already is a 50% stat swing, and Russia in this mode already has better stats. So it effectively, like Russia, because he has better country modifiers, he has better planning modifiers, and he has this training modifier, he effectively has like twice the stats of a European powers. This is so avoidable. With a little bit of test building, this shouldn't be too hard to avoid, because even when we played in the first game, which to be fair we also lost, but we trained our tanks. So that is one thing that I think went catastrophically wrong. Alright, as to the next reason why I think we lost, is that France didn't make use of his air. The Allies, or the Europeans, did have green air in this. They had 53 on air, while Russia had quite a substantial amount on air as well. If we check it out, he has 57 on air, France has 54 on air. But the French air is better. He started producing it way earlier. The French had green air during the war. As you can see, 2,700 planes versus 2,000 planes. But they didn't use it. They didn't build CAS. They didn't build strat bombers. They just built fighters. So essentially, these 50 mils just went down the drain. You could make the argument that it's good to defend against Russian bombing, because last time we died to Russian bombing. But you don't need 54 on it if Russia has 57 on it and you just want to defend against bombing. If you just want to defend against bombing, go like 30 on air, not 50. So that is a huge loss, especially considering that the Russian eco is so big. So, like, France is the biggest European member, mill-wise, and it's basically all sunk into nothing. This is doing nothing for the Europeans. So essentially they're down to having to play with like 100 mils from Germany, Italy and Poland combined, and even if you take down the Russian air mils, they have approximately the same amount of mils, which they shouldn't. The European powers have one advantage, and that's industry, and they need to push that advantage. The third reason why they lost the first European war, and this one is so ironic, because when we played and we got naval invaded, the entire Reddit and Twitter brigade was on our ass and just said, just port garrison, just build air on port garrison and you will win. And this time they forgot the port garrison! That is insane! They didn't port garrison the Baltic states at all, so what Grisha did, he naval invaded all of the Baltic states. I hope I have a clip. I will show the clip if I haven't. They naval invaded all of the Baltic states, or he naval invaded all of the Baltic states, and half of the German army got encircled in the Baltic states. That is insane! Have I not watched the last game? And this, like, some of these people were part of the Twitter and Reddit brigade, and they were telling us, like, just build air, just do this, just do that. And then they didn't garrison their own ports! That was insane. Another big strategic mistake that happened is that France basically built no army. Like, he had what, like 80k, 90k men? Which is fine. He was the air guy, you know, that was his job, and doing air is fine. As said, he should have done different things with air. He should have built strat bombers. He should have gotten some utility out of his air. But the army that France had, instead of supporting them on the main front line, he had pretty decent divisions. Like, these aren't shitters. These are good. These are 42. These are as good as the German divisions, if not better. And what did he do with it? He naval invaded Murmansk. Okay, fair. Naval invasions are fine. Grisha doesn't have a micro, because it's like he has to fight on 20 different fronts. Like Greece started, like the Greece AI naval invaded Sevastopol, and they marched like straight up to Kiev. So, you know, naval invasions fair. No, not a bad idea. But he just snaked in completely into this without waiting for supply or any backups, he just rushed in and got his entire army encircled by Grisha for no reason. This was so preventable. Just don't snake in. Like, you could have held at this river line, build up supply, and then go in. Or here is even a supply up somewhere in the region. Wait, let's see. Yeah, there is the supply up. So you walk up here, up to here, then you build a supply up, or you build a port, or whatever. But you don't just rush in. You don't even have to build a supply up. Just don't rush in. Just do it like with a little bit of brain. Like, go for the port or something. He rushed in with no supply and got his entire army encircled at around this area, which was like ridiculous. This isn't what lost him the game. Don't understand me wrong. This isn't even like, this alone has no impact on them losing the game. But it was insanely bad, especially since we saw that Grisha had a lack of micro. He didn't see that Moscow was getting encircled for like half of the game. Moscow got encircled by like one French division. So imagine if we actually had like a proper second front or a proper third front with another naval invasion here. That could have been a game changer. That could have been huge. But instead they blew it and got their entire army encircled. That was not good. Okay, if until now you thought the European performance was bad, you have seen nothing. Remember how last time we got naval invaded here and got clowned by the Reddit and Twitter brigade? Guess what happened this time? They got naval invaded at the same place and he rushed down right into Paris. Okay, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, so first of all, Europe unified under Günther Fehlinger. Great, smart. And Grisha had like a 800 IQ play. And that is, like, usually you just do your focus tree before you do the war. Like, you want to scale, you want to build up. But Grisha, the genius that he is, obviously rushed down for the war with the Europeans. He rushed for it immediately, as you can see. He rushed onto this focus tree. So the war was in 2029, 2028 even. Usually it's around 1930. I've seen 1932, I think, even. It is very late. And Europe needs time to scale. Like, the European economy is huge. Right now, you can't see it because Germany is captured. Like, Yugoslavia got captured. Everything got captured. But the European economy was bigger than the Russian economy. They need time to scale. It was very well done by Grisha. Very smart. And I think, to be fair, I am coping a little bit. But the second European war, I don't think was winnable. Grisha's strategy here was simply too good. And I don't think there's a counter to it. Europe, after losing the first war, gets into a bunch of civil wars. They have a lot of problems, a lot of debuffs. They have to get rid of it. And they can outscale Russia if Russia gives them the time. Like, if Russia gave them another year till 2030, I think Europe had a realistic shot. But like this, it's probably unwinnable. So I think that is pretty much all that went wrong in the second European war. It got declared way too early, like 2 years too early, maybe even 4 years, depending on what they were planning with. They could have scaled a lot more. They could have annexed Britain and everything, but it didn't happen. And yeah, I guess all I wanted to get off my chest here is that these Muppets got naval invaded just like I did. Okay, so I didn't even get naval invaded, it was tankers, but yeah, I just wanted to get that off my chest. Well, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know this is just a small recap of what I think went wrong. Just wanted to explain a bit what happened. Might be a very incomprehensible video, I don't know. I'm just gonna upload it. Thank you all for watching, goodbye, and see you all another day. Bye-bye.